in my opinion, total freedom of speech is a terrible idea. I believe if you allow total freedom of speech, the world would fall into chaos, the fabric of society would be torn, and the universe would be destroyed in a gigantic freaking. But whoa. Before you call me a communist, it's not to say that there aren't great things about freedom of speech though, because there are. The main idea of freedom of speech is that you should be able to say anything that you want, even if it's offensive to other people. Because what might be offensive to you might not be offensive to somebody else, and what might be offensive to somebody else might not be offensive to you. It's not to say, by the way, that speech cannot be offensive, it's just to say that neither you nor the person that you're talking to should be the standard bearer. Otherwise, nobody would talk at all, because you just have people saying, oh, you can't say this word, you can't say that word, and at the end of the day, no discussions, no chat, nothing is gonna ever happen. Add on to this the fact that almost any movie, book, work of art, YouTube video is the result of somebody else's freedom of speech, and you will start realizing that freedom of speech is super freaking crucial in our world today. But does that mean that it should be left totally unrestricted though? No. I probably learned the most about this topic by looking at the Constitution of the US, the free speech country, simply because it's the country that has the strongest reputation for freedom of speech and has, in the form of the First Amendment, a specific provision for guaranteeing that you can insult people, offend people, put the faces of US presidents on horses if you want, and the government cannot arrest you for that. The United States, in its Declaration of Freedom of Speech as the bedrock principle upon which democracy is built, truly showcases that this is important to them. The American position is basically that even if you have a ton of offensive speech and just some really bad ideas, this is not just about you, it's about everybody out there in the community and what they can or cannot do. At the end of the day, as people discuss and compete ideas, the best ones are going to come out, and eventually then society can end up with a better answer than one it otherwise would have received if it simply didn't have that process of debate. But as it turns out, even the Americans have places where they draw the line. Should somebody shout you down in the middle of a protest or a speech you're making and basically say that it's freedom of speech? Would you like it if somebody went up to you and gaslighted you and told you all manner of lies, trickery, and deceit while telling you that it was just freedom of speech? It's a scam, fraud, deceit, and literally telling people to kill someone, stuff that you can't be arrested for, since America loves freedom of speech so much? As it turns out, the answer to that question is no, you can get arrested, and these are not protected forms of speech. Probably for common sense reasons, though if you don't agree right there, feel free to express it right there, but I can't guarantee that you won't end up attracting an FBI team to your doorstep when or if you say that scamming people out of their life savings is a matter of freedom of speech. What it shows us is that freedom of speech does have its limitations, even in the world's most free country. Bear in mind, of course, that speech can be used to commit crimes. You might mislead people, violate other people's rights, tell people that a certain medicine works when actually it's going to kill you, and then call it free speech. So then, if you were to simply just say complete freedom of speech should apply, effectively you're giving a license to people to just completely commit crimes using their speech. People have this very romantic idea of freedom of speech. They imagine that just because people have the freedom to say what they want, that they will end up producing poetry, books, works of art and literature to enthrall our minds and to inspire our hearts. In reality though, just because you have a freedom doesn't mean that you're going to use it correctly. Freedom of speech, like almost any incredible weapon in the world, is a double-edged sword that can both shut down the government and take it to task, as well as misinform and disinform all the people who are supposed to be under our care, to the point that society ends up confused, unable to act, and lost altogether. And in all likelihood, given our world today, most people probably won't, given that so many people get their news from Facebook and a society where people barely read past the title of a social media article before commenting like rabid animals. At the end of the day though, I get why we can't stop people from saying dumb things that we don't agree with. If you had to choose between silencing both the smart and dumb people versus silencing some dumb people but shutting down the entire flow of society's ideas just to suit the needs of a nanny state, the benefit doesn't justify the cost, and at the end of the day, we will be better off if we simply allow people to develop the ability to decide what is right for themselves rather than decide it beforehand. So yeah, total freedom of speech, nuh-uh. An environment where we feel comfortable expressing ourselves, far from being something that naturally and spontaneously takes place, is something that you actually need to plan to have. If you do want to pursue more enlightened conversations, there's nothing automatic about that. That requires education, creation of public spaces, critical thinking, and so many other things out there. Or maybe you don't even care about debates at all, and you just want to be able to express yourself without the government constantly breathing down your neck. I think the First Amendment is the best framework that I've looked at for protecting these freedoms. I don't know if there are better ones out there. If there are, then leave me a comment down below. But as you can see, even that has its restrictions, showcasing that even in the most free country in the world, freedom of speech is not totally free. While total freedom of speech sounds wonderful, I hope that this video has convinced you otherwise. If it didn't, exercise your freedom of speech, leave me a comment down below. Either way, you're at the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.